I thought I'd prepared for Japan. I watched videos, I read different blogs, I learned the basics, but let me tell you, nothing prepared me for what daily life actually feels like here. So after a year and a half living in northern Japan, here are 7 things that genuinely shocked me. 1. Silence here is social currency. So in many countries like Africa and also in Europe, silence feels awkward. But here, silence feels respectful. So on the trains, you cannot really talk loudly because everyone is on their phones, trying to just, mind their own business. In waiting rooms as well, you have to minimize voices, even in the supermarkets. And no one tells you to be quiet. You just learn the environment and you understand very quickly that the atmosphere, you have to be quiet. So sound here carries social meaning, and being loud, it feels like you're breaking an agreement or something. It's crazy. Number 2, garbage here is complicated. So here you have to sort your trash. You have to separate the burnables, like the papers, trash that you can burn, the non-burnable, the plastics, the cans, the PET bottles, and if you get it wrong, your trash will be sent back to your home. That is very humbling, right? 3, politeness here has layers. So the politeness you see as a visitor is just only the surface. There are levels to it. The tone being used, the choices of words, and the body language also, it depends with the age difference, the authority, and also the relationship between the people who are conversing or interacting. So sometimes a maybe means no, and sometimes silence means disagreement. And here, something that is really surprising is someone can easily ghost you and just stop talking to you without confrontation or the need to explain to you the reason why. Feels kind of weird, right? But maybe it's just a way to avoid burdening another human being with your emotions, maybe your fears, your issues, and just opt to avoid confrontations and disrupting their peace, But anyway, that's just my thinking. Let me know what's your take on this in the comment section, because I'm also trying to figure it out, like why can someone just ghost you and just be silent forever and all that. But anyway, understanding that takes time. So I had to take time to understand that. Number 4, winter here is a lifestyle. So in Hokkaido, it's very cold, can go to the lows of minus 20 plus or 21, and winter here isn't just the weather, it's like infrastructure. So you find having heaters here, it's a normal thing. You have heaters at home, we have heaters in the workplaces, in the sidewalks, just to bring back the warmth during winter. And it's really expensive to maintain them, and because of consumption of electricity and also gas. And also you find the snow removal, like big trucks to remove snows from the main roads and also the side roads. So basically the system here is built to sustain itself even during winter. But we get to enjoy some sports too sometimes, like skating, skiing, and events like ice festivals, which we're going to talk about later in the other episodes. So I hope you're going to stay with me. I really felt lucky to witness the highest snowfall in Obihiro, a high of around 129 centimeters within 12 hours for the first time in my life. And that was recently, just last year, February. That's when I realized this isn't temporary, man. It's the way of life here. But it was amazing. The winter here does something else. It amplifies isolation, it makes the quiet more quieter, and it makes routine feel heavier. Number 5, you are always socially evaluated. What do I mean by this? So everyone is watching, not aggressively, but subtly. So how you behave here really matters. How you queue, maybe when you're going to board a bus or a train or in supermarkets, it's also very important to have manners. Also, how you greet people, depending if it's the old, the young, the person in authority, it really matters. And even how you exist in shared spaces also matters. Shh, we're gonna talk about onsen in the later episodes. So these are just public baths, so where people publicly take a shower or a bath fully naked but respectfully. We're gonna talk about it later. So stay with me, okay? So basically this place makes you hyper aware of yourself. Basically you're in solitude and you understand yourself better. Number 6, systems here replace confrontation. So instead of arguing, there are rules. Instead of shouting, there are procedures. And conflict here feels rare. So confrontation here is never the first option. That's because structure prevents it before it begins. And the last point, number 7, this point is one of the major points that many foreigners really struggle living abroad. Loneliness can be invisible in Japan. So you can be surrounded by people and still feel socially distant. You can go for days without deep conversations here, but not because people are unfriendly, but because social circles here are established. And entering in social circles takes time, because establishing trust here takes time. So in my point of view, the shock here wasn't culture. It was realizing how much structure shapes behavior. And none of these shocks were negative. They were clarifying. So Japan didn't shock me with chaos. It shocked me with order. And that order reveals more about a society than I expected. If you've watched this far, you're not just curious about Japan, you're curious about how societies function. We are just getting started. Ja, matane.